Welcome to our new series of interviews with Father Bob. The teenagers of St. Peter Parish will be interviewing Father Bob every month, asking him questions that have been on their minds. Stay tuned each month for a new video. Here is the next of many interviews to come.
So, Father Bob, are people born possessed by evil or unclean spirits, or is it a result of their sins? Do they have a choice? Are people who commit horrific crimes considered possessed? I guess my first question should be, does unclean spirits mean evil spirits?
Okay, well that's a big topic, and I'd start with your last question, or your first question, however you want to put it. Unclean spirits and evil spirits would be really the same thing. The New Testament uses both phrases. And, what is an unclean or an evil spirit? Well, we believe that, God created everything and everything good, but there was first rebellion in heaven before there was on earth. And Lucifer, Satan, rebelled against God. Angels went with him, so he has his own kind of angelic kingdom that is all mad at God. And being mad at God, they try to get those who are made in God's image and likeness to turn from God. That's us, people. So that's what they're about. Are people who commit horrific crimes possessed by evil spirits? Possibly. Sometimes when we repeat wrongdoing, we kind of make a big opening in our soul that evil spirits can kind of come in and take over an area of our life. So all we think about is doing this action that is somehow perverted or wrong. And so sometimes evil spirits have that influence. Well, we're also fallen creatures. And so we have, our own abilities, so to speak, our own brokenness that will lead us to do wrong too. So it's not always motivated by evil spirits or possessed by or, whatever, obsessed by. So that happens. What about people being born possessed or with an unclean spirit? Is it a result of their sins or other sins? And, first of all, every person is born innocent on the one hand, but also a sinner on the other hand. Innocent in the sense that they haven't committed personal sin, but we're born into a fallen world, and so we experience the effects of original sin. And there can be people who have more effects of original sin in their life just because of the culture they're born into. If they're born into a culture that is where people outwardly practice, let's say some form of worship of Satan, or they're caught up in a superstition, placating, sort of satisfying evil spirits and somehow to try to be protected or whatever. You could have greater influence. It's interesting to note in the rite of baptism we have a prayer to be freed from the power of evil and the brokenness that comes with original sin. In a sense, it's a prayer of exorcism or deliverance. And so the Church takes seriously the fact that there is spiritual warfare going on, and at times even innocent people are affected in some manner. We see that in the gospel, and that there are children or younger people that seem to be afflicted with an evil spirit that Jesus has to deal with. In general, though, thank God, we still live in a culture that has some of the vestiges of Christianity and baptism and things like that. So I think there's less of that in our time. But not to say that it couldn't be come back at another time. So yes, we're the church militant for a reason. We're involved in spiritual warfare. We need the protection of Christ and the living a holy life and the grace of the sacraments to really live truly free. But Jesus is Lord, and every knee shall bow. So we don't have to fear evil spirits. We have to just follow Jesus, and He'll take care of us. Amen?
Amen.
Okay.